We got heavy hitters today. Whoa,
Chris Cole is
here.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
We're great.
Doing real good, and I think we're going to talk some football, Chris.
What else is there to talk about around Thanksgiving other than food and football?
The best combo.
We got 3 NFL games tomorrow, right?
One Friday
to go with the high school, with the Franklin County Flyers.
Yes,
the
and
NFL games during the day.
All of the rivalry games
on Saturday.
and college football on Saturday.
Man, this is about as good a week of football as you're going to get.
If you're a football fan, this is the best weekend of the year.
And
so NFL, you've always got Cowboys.
So you got the
Lions. Lions are the
the Lions and the Cowboys.
The Cowboys have
year.
the second game. Yeah. I'm not sure who has the nightcap, but I know the Jets and the Dolphins play on Friday.
Okay. Yeah. So it should be good. Yeah, no, always the Lions and the Cowboys host on Thanksgiving Day. And it's cool because the Lions are good. Like, they've always been pretty awful, but this year they're good.
They're
so it should
good,
be fun to watch. Dan Campbell.
Can we talk about those Franklin County Flyers, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a heck of a run this year.
Yeah, they're 13-0. And in years past, anybody that's kept up with Franklin County, it's been offense that has been the star of the show. You know, but the last 2 or 3 years, we've started seeing a little transition to where their defense has been the focal point of this team. It's more of a balanced attack, and I mean, they're throwing up points. Don't get me wrong, but in 13 games, they've only allowed 128 points. Which is less than 10 points a game. Now, last week they had a little bit of a scare after coming through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Putting zeros on the board defensively. But Bardstown hung tough and came back and made a game of it after being down big at halftime.
There was sort of it was crazy. There was an amazing play. We're going to get into it, but that was the change of that play happened. And
that wasn't a play, right?
Right. Well,
the play that wasn't a play.
The play that wasn't a play, but then that shifted. Really seemed the whole momentum of the game. Like, the Flyers were just rolling, and then that play happened.
And an onside kick here, a turnover there, and next thing you know,
it's a close
Bardstown's a drive away from tying it up at the end of the game.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the crazy play.
Okay.
Real quick. We got audio up front here.
Again, Marshall gets out of it. Oh, my goodness. What a play. What a play.
So you've got the quarterback's rolling out. Looks like he's trying to just throw it away. A defender for Franklin County, as he's falling out of bounds, gets control of it and then throws it back to a fellow defender, which catches it inbounds and is down.
Right.
By rule, that is illegal forward pass.
Right.
He advanced the ball illegally.
And
Done a lot of research over the last few days.
On the field, yes.
Now, if the defender had just tipped it or just batted it, but where he caught it and threw it.
So like the volleyball rule, basically.
Yes.
Like if you just knocked it, but you're saying that he had possession.
Yes.
And then threw it.
Which...
That's tough. It's amazing body control.
Okay, so here's where that was what I was saying that during the game, like when it was happening, I was like, that's why they're calling it. But would that penalty not have taken place after possession had changed? Because what they did was they assessed the penalty and then gave Bardstown the first down, and they kept driving down the field.
No, because it allowed the change of possession.
But, I mean, the penalty was after he caught it and intercepted it. Didn't Franklin County have the ball at that point? And then the penalty would have been after.
But with the yardage, it automatically gave Bardstown a first down.
Okay. But what I'm saying is that the penalty wouldn't have taken – it should have been Franklin County ball and then penalty.
I wish I had
backwards.
my tablet with me, Harvey, because I had a friend of mine that reached out to a official in a different state and sent him video.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's all these paragraphs.
That's what's amazing, that these guys are able to actually make that call. It's such a random.
And
there for a few minutes,
right.
Clint and I, we didn't see the call.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out what happened and what should have been, and we missed the illegal touching or illegal forward pass, whatever they wanted to call it, and then Bardstown ends up with possession, and they go down the field and they score.
And because that was on 3rd down, right? So it was going to be 4th down if it had not been intercepted.
Right.
Think about it if you're an official, and like you want everything to be easy calls, right? And then you get into one of these where it's a debate, and that's a nightmare, where you got to make a call that could affect the game. And thank goodness, I think at the end of the day, thank goodness Franklin County was able to eventually get their heads back in it, reassert control. I mean, because if that had cost them, if that had ended up like the game flips and then they lose, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, and every one of us as a sports fan, right, we don't want the officials to dictate how an outcome of a game is. But, Franklin County did a really good job of holding on down the stretch. But, boy, they got a juggernaut coming to town Friday night.
Yeah, talk to us about Boyle County.
So, on paper, this game is a coin flip. Now, Boyle County is looking for their 4th straight state championship, one at which a few years ago they won by a fingertip against Franklin County in the COVID year. But the quarterbacks had the exact same amount of passing yards, 2,258. Trahan for Franklin County has 25 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Dawson for Boyle has 28 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I said earlier, Franklin County's allowed 128 points. Boyle's allowed 151 points. But the stat that really looks at me and points, comes out and just is the scoring in the playoffs. Boyle went 41-6, 49-0, and then they beat maybe the toughest quarter round opponent of anybody in 4A. They beat Corbin 21-14.
Okay.
County goes 56-0, 58-0, and then they beat a good Bardstown team by a touchdown. So again, everything kind of goes back. How close are they on paper?
Right.
So I'm looking forward to it.
The difference could be the home field advantage, right? So that's into the fans here in Franklin County.
We have got to get the fans out because I have, with contacts and people I know in Boyle County, there will be at least 2,000 to 3,000 people from Boyle County come up 127. I grew up down there, so
me too.
Now, are you a rebel or you're an admiral?
I'm a rebel. Yep.
Are y'all
do you want to get between us here?
Listen, I'm gonna just I don't have that kind of love for the school.
No,
but if it comes down to blows, I'm saying you got it.
No, well, being a Danville boy, a city boy, I love what Boyle has done the last 25 years. I actually had this conversation at my job this morning. Is there a better program in a public school in the high school football in the state of Kentucky in the last 25 years than Boyle County? Probably not. But Eddie James has got Franklin County
they're rolling
in that direction. And I think the time he spent as an assistant at Boyle kind of gave him that footprint of what he had to bring to Franklin County. And we've seen the difference in what's happening here.
Well, and I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You sort of rattled off the stats. It sounds like these teams are formed. They have similar DNA, right? It's not going to be a 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of offense coming with Boyle County. They're gonna throw it around a little bit.
Well, and somebody asked me that has connection to the Franklin County program. He asked me this week. He said, "What kind of offense do we expect from Boyle?" Boyle has 2,675 yards passing on the season. They have 2,625 yards rushing. So they are a 50-50 team.
Wow.
And that's hard to scheme against defensively. Now, Dennis Ledford, I've said it on the air, and I'll say it again. His defense the last 2 or 3 years has been one of the best I've seen at any class in the state of Kentucky, and I've had to coach against him when I've been at Frankfort or at Western Hills, and you don't know what he's going to throw at you. He may blitz up the middle. He may bring somebody off the edge. It may be a delay. It's so sophisticated for a high school defense. It's really hard to playing against.
You think we're bringing in new stuff this week? Like, there's obviously you got film on the other teams, and you're trying to scout. But
some wrinkles?
Yeah, you bringing some wrinkles in either on the offense or the defensive end?
Is
it too late? You got what you got. And
by this time of year, you're not going to try to change a whole lot. You're thankful that you don't have any serious injuries because this is what you started the two-a-days for in July and August. This is why you're in the weight room in January to May. Yeah. And, it comes down to who wants to be at Kroger Field next week the worst.
Occasionally, some people might put like one gadget play in their back pocket, like if they think they might need it.
County always has that in their pocket, whether it's a double pass or a reverse or something. I think special teams is going to be a key to this game. We've seen Franklin County score multiple times this year on a punt return, a block punt, or
maybe a field goal. 30-yard field goal might be the difference in this game.
Well, Easton Powell, I would trust a game on his foot. I know he missed one the other night, but I would definitely, if game come down to the line, I would put my trust in him if I was Coach James.
Chris, do you want to put a prediction on television?
You're not going to put me on that spot here. Let me flip a quarter 100 times and go.
You'll predict a good game on Friday. You think it's going to be a good
I think so too.
And I project a full house. I think it will be standing room only, people on the track.
Well, when do you think we've had a bigger game than this in Frankfort? I mean, I don't know in my time.
I've been in Frankfort since 2003, and this is probably the biggest game that I can remember being here.
Well, especially that you got a team coming that's not that far away either. You're not coming.
We're not like the opposite side of the bracket that Paducah Tillman is traveling to Covington Catholic, right? That's a 6-hour bus ride.
I mean, I'm sure they'll still have people there, but as far as like Danville, it's just you're coming up.
It's an hour drive. Right? I mean, it's like last week, Bardstown. They had a good turnout for the weather, as bad as it was. But no, I encourage anybody, whether you're a Western Hills, a Panther, or whatever, come out and support these kids and this coaching staff. They've worked hard, and this is a big-time game. And, hey, you can sit in the stands, be on the track, have your phone, and watch us too, right?
Right. Yeah. Get a good replay. You get the good replays on there.
And then have maybe a radio in your ear set and listen to the guys from Froggy because they'll be there too. So you get all three experiences in the capital city.
By the way, Franklin County has invited the public Thanksgiving morning to watch the Flyers practice.
Benny Watkins Field.
They're going to have donuts and coffee provided.
Okay.
Ugly Christmas sweaters encouraged. And so, Friday, 7:30, cable 10.
I'd say get there early, too, right? I mean,
So I know friends of mine that are coming up from Boyle and friends here. We're actually getting to the school about 4 o'clock. We're going to have a little tailgate before the game. And plus, we'll find a good parking spot, hopefully, by 4.
Right. I would say also if you can carpool, because I'm guessing it's going to be a lot will be pretty full by kickoff.
Yes.
So.
Now, what time does the practice tomorrow morning start, Scott?
I don't have that. Yeah, I don't have the time. We'll have to look it up.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, here you go. Yeah,
8:30.
All right.
8:30 a.m.
Chocolate, hot coffee, and donuts.
So forget you don't need to watch the parade.
No.
You come out and watch your boys practice. Chris, when are we gonna get those ads back on the horse?
I don't know. An 0-11 season, and I didn't want to go down this road, but Coach Clevenger that was there, was a teammate of mine at Danville. Yeah. He's at Somerset, and they're in the state semifinals this weekend as well. So
there you go.
I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, even though I want to. But
that's a lot.
So the other side of the bracket is, you said, Paducah Tillman and Covington Catholic. So the winner of this game will play the winner of that at Kroger Field.
Yes,
next
and this is the first time ever in KHSAA history that all 4 teams in the semifinals in one class are undefeated.
Oh, wow.